Howdy, Mike McCoy here. Today I've got my trusty sidekick Mother as my cameraman. Say hello, Mother.
Hello.
Say it a little louder.
That's good.
She ain't feeling it today. But today I'm going to tell you a little story about Hickory. Right after World War II, there was a guy put up, for the time, a big sawmill adjoining Madison County. And his last name, I think, was Garland. Matter of fact, I actually destroyed one of his old saws. That 62-inch saw I had, he probably bought it new, and I wound up with it. It's a good saw. But anyway, and for the time, it was a big sawmill, and he was pulling it with a cat power unit. And they had a bunch of hickory down there testing on the saw, and it was a rainy day, and all the loggers had come in. That's sort of like a loafer's glory to loggers on rainy days, and they couldn't get in the woods and work. They'd hang out the sawmill and tell lies and trade pocket knives and stuff like that. Well, the old man, he had a sawing. Well, he wasn't an old man at that time, he was a young man, but the guy that he had a sawing was a pretty good sawyer, and they was cutting hickory. Well, all them fellers is gathered up around there watching him cut that hickory. And the more they watched him, the faster he got. For I'm sure they was egging him on, you know. And he was just putting that hickory through there like no tomorrow. I mean, he was turning it on. And the guy told me this story was the guy I actually started out logging with, Jack Davis. And Jack was there when it happened. And he ran back into that saw and crammed that in a hickory log, and that saw just exploded. Jack said they wasn't a piece of that saw any bigger than the palm of your hand. Flew all over that mill, scared them fellers to death. He said there's people diving behind lumber and logs and anything they could find for protection. And thankfully nobody got hurt. But to put enough pressure on a saw to make it explode, you'd have to be sawing pretty hard. And I could see that happening. And every time I saw hickory, I think about that. We cut a couple hickory logs last week, I guess it was. And you could feel that old mill of mine, you could feel the whole thing tremble when it was going through that log. That's how hard they pulled it. And I used to sell logs to a guy out in Haywood County. And he had a good sized sawmill, and instead of a band resaw, he had a bull edger. And I think it was like a 10-inch bull edger he had. It took like 300 horsepower to pull that thing. And I'd always go down there and unload and pull up to the top of the sawmill was sort of down in the hole, and I'd pull up beside the road there and park, and he'd run up to the house and get me a check and bring it back down there. Well, I was sitting there, and there's a sawing hickory. And you could feel the ground a-trembling when they'd cram that hickory can into that bull edger. I've never witnessed nothing like that before. I mean, just that much raw power. You know, with electric motor, you can't tell how hard it's laboring or nothing. But now that thing was putting some power out to do that. And hickory always kind of fascinated me that way. And in my opinion, white oak's every bit as hard to saw as hickory, but you don't notice it as bad, for white oak brings more money, you know. But there's some white oak that's grown in this area, and it'll have a blue tint to it when you saw it, and that's some of the toughest stuff I've ever stuck a saw into. The only time I've ever stuck my saw in this automatic mill was in white oak. And I mean, that stuff just pulls us all to death. But I seen Logger Wade, he showed their hickory pile. God, I'd hate to have to know I had to saw up that much hickory. But you know, the new modern mill and electric power and everything, you could do it without a whole lot of trouble. And really and truly, hickory don't saw all that bad if it's fresh and you've got the bark off of it. And that bark will dull a saw quick. But if it's debarked and it ain't been cut for too awful long, it saws fairly decent. But that's my story on hickory. I mean, that's some tough stuff. White oak's tough stuff. And we've got a pine here we call white spruce. I reckon it's white spruce. And that stuff's hard to saw. It ain't hard on the saw, and the saw will pull through it. But it's just hard to saw. I can't explain it. And it's a little harder than white pine. I don't think it's hard as hemlock. But it just fuzzies up and rubs the saw and gets it hot and everything. And I despise sawing it. It's a beautiful wood once you get it sawed, but you just have to really take your time with that stuff to keep it from cutting thick and thin and all that. But that's my rambling for today, so talk at you later.